Bitcoin is about to make a huge move on the 1 hour time frame. On several time frames we can see different formations unfolding for Bitcoin. Today I will tell you everything about Bitcoin and what is going to happen next. Later in the video I will also discuss the two altcoins Vechain and Chainlink with you. So with that being said, let's dive right into the charts. On the 1 hour time frame we can see Bitcoin is creating this huge consolidation formation with multiple touch points on the top side and with 3 touch points already on the downside as support. And yeah, this price is getting squeezed into this apex, and eventually Bitcoin has to pick a side, and we will either see a break to the top side, retest the previous resistance as support, and from there we can aim for higher targets. But we can also see a bearish scenario playing out, and that means that we're going to see a break to the downside, a retest of the support, retest this as resistance, and then come further back down. So these are my two scenarios for Bitcoin, and this could happen any day now, because Bitcoin always tends to break out before the apex is getting reached. And this could happen today already, or maybe later in the week. So for now Bitcoin is in this consolidation phase, and Bitcoin is still in this big downtrend, so we could also see a continuation of the downtrend, and that we're going to see more downside continuation. But for now we want to see a trend reversal to the top side and retest this previous resistance as support, and then come further back up. And if we have a look at the daily time frame, we can see Bitcoin has been in this huge downtrend as well. Every time we broke a certain support, we retested as resistance, and we then made a continuation of the more downside. So this is looking very bearish if you ask me. And yeah, still we are in this downtrend, and we retested this resistance. So we are now seeing a rejection, but it looks like Bitcoin wants to revisit this resistance and force a break to the top side and aim for higher targets. And this would cause a big trend reversal for Bitcoin, and that's what we've all been waiting for. So for now, yeah, we are seeing mixed signals, and especially yesterday was a very interesting day. We saw a big drop, but we also came all the way up, and we saw a lot of inflows into the Bitcoin ETF, because we saw more than $294 getting bought by the Bitcoin ETFs, and especially Blackrock is buying again. Blackrock didn't buy anything in the last weeks for almost, and now we are seeing they bought for almost 190 million, so that is insane. And also Grayscale wasn't selling, so that is very good to see. And also the Fidelity Bitcoin ETF is buying in heavily, so that was yeah, that's good to see. And yesterday I was talking about this cumulative inflow, and that we want to see a spike to the top side again. And yeah, we again reached this $50 billion mark, so that is nice to see. And yeah, I didn't expect it actually. And maybe we can see something similar like this, that we're going to see a spike to the top side again. And yeah, we want to see this $20 billion mark getting hit very soon, and that will be very positive for the price of Bitcoin. And despite the German government selling more than 2.2 billion into the market of Bitcoin, there are now messages that the Bitcoin whales are accumulating very heavily, and that is something you want to see. Whales are always buying the dip in heavily, and that is some kind of strength you want to see for Bitcoin. Yeah, the German government sold in heavily yesterday, and all the selling pressure is getting sucked up by the Bitcoin ETFs, and all the whales are buying. So this is something you like to see. And from here we can maybe see the bottom is in, and that we're going to see trend reversal for Bitcoin. I've also been talking about this broadening wedge for Bitcoin. We can see multiple touch points on the top side as resistance, and we can also see multiple touch points on the downside as support. And yeah, yesterday as well, and last week we touched this lower side support, and we bounced from it. So this is looking a little bit more stronger. Yeah, we want to see that this huge downtrend is getting broken, and that we're going to see a force of a trend reversal. So when Bitcoin shows more strength for now, then we can maybe force a trend reversal and aim for higher targets. And yeah, we want to see that Bitcoin is going to aim for this upper side resistance again, and eventually force a break to the top side, and that would be very bullish. And yeah, always the days where everything seems very bearish, those are the days where a lot of opportunities are there. And yeah, this could be a lifetime opportunity to buy more Bitcoin, because eventually we will go to the $100,000, and that could happen later this year, or maybe in 2025 or in 2026. But eventually I expect that we're going to see that $100,000 mark. But for me it doesn't matter when it's getting hit, but yeah, I think we will hit it eventually in the future. Yesterday in my video I also talked about this bullish divergence for Bitcoin. We saw a lower low on the chart and a higher low on the RSI chart. So this is a bullish divergence, and yeah, it could play out still in the coming days. And for now we are seeing a little bit more the upside for the RSI already, and you can also see that in the price. So let's see if Bitcoin can force maybe a little bit more upside on the chart. and that we're going to see more bullish price action. And if we have a look at the weekly chart, we can see Bitcoin is creating this higher low on the chart, and we are creating this lower low on the RSI, and this indicates a hidden bullish divergence. So we are now seeing the selling pressures coming down to levels around the 50, 45, and eventually we want to see a spike to the top side, maybe see levels around 80 again, and that would also have a very interesting effect on the price of Bitcoin. And it's not a bad thing that we're now seeing a cool off of this RSI, because we were in this huge uptrend on the weekly time frame, of course, and now the RSI is a little bit cooling off. So that is a very healthy thing to see in this bull market. So there's a lot of upside potential for the RSI, and that could also have a very bullish effect on the price of Bitcoin. And the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is still at levels around 27. Last month we saw levels of greed, and now we're back at the levels of 27. So that's also very interesting to see, because we're still in a bull market, and when you see levels around fear in a bull market, in an uptrend, then you can confirm that the price is a little bit cooling off after a big uptrend, and we are ready for a new spike to the top side, where stages of greed can maybe getting hit. And when we're seeing more all-time highs for Bitcoin, then of course the greed will return. But for now we are still at fear, so these are the times to be more greedy and to accumulate more Bitcoin. And on the weekly time frame we can also see this huge uptrend for Bitcoin, and now we're in this bull flag formation. Currently we are retesting this lower side support of the bull flag, and we don't want to see a break of this support, of course, because then we will go back to lower levels and we need to become a little bit more bearish. But we want to see a bounce from this support, retest this upper side resistance again, and maybe force a break to the top side, and then this bull flag can make a continuation to the top side, and that will be very bullish. So keep in mind that this bull flag is still in play, and we are now at the lower side support. The first altcoin I want to discuss with you is Vechain. We can see Vechain is also in this huge downtrend on a weekly time frame, and we are back at this support level, and we can see maybe a little bit of a break with this. Last week we saw a very bearish candle. It looks like we fell below the support, and we are now retesting this support as resistance, and that is a very bearish retest, of course. So we could see a rejection from this point, but eventually we want to see that Vechain is gaining a little bit more strength, and that we're going to see something like this, regain this previous support or resistance, and then come further back up, retest it as support again, and then create more bullish price action, because we want to see this huge downtrend is getting broken, and we want to see a trend reversal for Vechain very soon. Otherwise we have to aim for lower targets, and now we are currently at the 2.5 cents, and we want to see this target of the 5 cents getting hit very soon. So let me know in the comments what you think about Vechain, and if you're still bullish on Vechain on the long term. Another interesting altcoin to look at is Chainlink. Chainlink is back at this huge support / resistance line on the weekly time frame. We can also maybe see a little bit of a break to the downside, and in the last 2 years Chainlink has been in this huge consolidation on the downside, and eventually we came back up, and now Chainlink is creating this interesting formation. It looks a little bit like an head and shoulders. We can see a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. So actually this is a bearish pattern. Chainlink fell below this support level, and now we can see a little bit of a bearish retest, and we're retesting this support as resistance, so we could also come further back down. But of course the same thing as Vechain here. We want to see that Chainlink is showing some more strength, and eventually we want to see this bounce to the top side. The first big support or resistance for the Chainlink to the top side will be around this level, because we can see a lot of touch points here in the past as resistance and also as support. We can see multiple touch points here, and this would be the first interesting level to look at if we're going to see more bullish price action, and that will be around the $18. And if we're going to see lower levels for Chainlink, then I expect that we're going to see levels around this price, because we can see a lot of price action here happening in the past, and that will be around the $7 or $8. If you find this video useful, leave a like, follow me on Twitter, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.